Okay, the next step I want to do, I'll copy this code right here, and I will paste it. I want to be able to go from 10 to 1. I'll do 10 to 5 so I just have less numbers. So what this is saying that I'm counting from 10 to 5 minus 1. So let's save that, and that's the goal that I want to do. I wonder what it's going to do right now. If I run this, I wonder what it'll do. Let's save it and run it. It didn't do anything. All right, so let's go here, and I want to change this logic slightly because I don't want this area to be crowded with, if I'm going negative, if I'm going positive. So I'm going to literally copy this method for now. Make this private so the outside world can't see it. And I'll call this P count2. And this just represents positive mode. Yeah, I'm running it in positive mode. And let's just make sure this actually still works. I'm going to say here P count. And if I save this, let's run this. Still looks like it works the same way. So this P count I want it to call itself, so I should make that P count there too. Let me just make sure that's doing it. Yep, still works. So this represents the positive count. So it's going to run this if it's in positive mode. And the way we're going to know if it's in positive mode, I'm going to say here, let's see here. If, let's see here, increment by is greater or equal to 0, then we're going to do that mode. Else, if less than 0, then we're going to do this mode. And then I'll do one more else. If somebody puts in a 0, that doesn't mean it's doing anything, so we'll just hit return. So it just doesn't do anything at all. I will copy this method, and this method now, the new method, which will, well, I'll put an N here, which will represent a negative count. So if I am in negative mode, which is this portion right here, I will run the N count. Okay. I think what I'll have to do is I'll have to reverse this, because I think now the logic will be end. I'm sorry, not end. Just logic will now be start. We'll put here. We'll do an end. And if you remember, this will have to call itself. So you want to make sure that this is also executing n count to n count for the negative number. Okay, so that thing, I think that should work in theory, but let's watch it in reverse to see, in debug mode to see what happens. I will comment out everything except this one. I'll make this go only down 3 numbers. And let's watch this in debug mode. I will do debug. Excuse me. Let's do a step into. Step over. Increment is negative, so we're going in reverse mode. We're running the n count. Let's step into. Okay. Start is 10 is greater than the end. Step over. This should print out the first number. There goes the 10. Step over. This will call itself, and count will call end count. So here's recursion. Step over. No, I didn't do step into, so that's why I went so fast. But it looks like it's working. Let's step over, step over, step over, step over, and we are out. So we went from 10 to 7 real quick, and we decremented by -1, or you could say increment if you want to say incremented by 1, -1, which is, yeah. So this looks like it's working. And again, I would run, unit test. Again, I don't want to do a video on unit test, but let's do this by 3 and save it. Let's run it in full mode. Good. It went to 10 to 7, didn't go past 3. And let's see if I put in -10. What would it do? Okay, it just shows 10, and that's it, which makes sense. You're only going down 1, and the only thing, there's nothing else. Okay, so that wouldn't work the way we think it would work. Okay, so this looks like it's working. And again, once you do one thing, you want to make sure you didn't break anything else. So in the real world, like I said, we'd have formal unit testing, which we don't have now. And I'll just make sure that everything still works the same way. So let's make this back to 1. And let's just test everything to make sure it still works. I'll continue that. Okay, so the first one still went from 5 to 10. Good. This one should go from 0 to 6 and incremental to 2. And let's make this do a 3. And just run it again just to make sure everything works. And everything looks like it's working fine. Okay, so that was us playing with different versions of us creating our own kind of loop through recursion. All right, so with that, good luck and good coding.